quickly welcome each and every one of us here to this meeting. It's the second day of our meeting. We had the last one on Friday, which we couldn't finish, and we agreed to reconvene on this Monday, this morning. So I want to particularly welcome the President of the NARD and his team, and other personalities of NARD that are here with us. All the members of the government side that are here, particularly the CMD and other members who are opportunity to be here today, particularly from Minister of Finance, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. I've just spoken with the Minister of Finance now. I think he's likely to be joining us at this meeting maybe anytime soon. So you are welcome. Let me tell you that the Minister of State for Health will soon be here also. He's in a meeting and he's supposed to be here. I think it's already 11:30. So very soon he will be here. So while we are waiting for him, let us recap what we have discussed yesterday or Friday. Oh, Thursday, sorry, Thursday, yes. Before we proceed. And this for the benefit of those of us who are joining us today. We have a list of about 17 or 19 issues on this list, which I have. I'm not sure whether most of you are having this list. Huh? I believe Minister of, you have the list? Minister of Health. Huh? You have it? Okay. Accountant General, huh? I know, but you can get it. And they know it's your fault from the way you gave them, and then when you yes. So if I start with number one is 7 months arrears of 25%, 35% upward review of promise. Yesterday on Thursday, we have been told that over 60% has received this. They are alert on this. Yeah? Okay. So over 60%. While number two, complement allowances, about 50%.
No, sir. As at that Thursday, the complement allowance has not been paid.
Oh, it has not been paid?
Yes.
Okay. But what about today, Friday? Oh, it wasn't paid? Okay. And any
Update on approximate.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good morning.
No, but before you start with the control, tell us why is Commerce 60%? It should be 100%.
Okay, we are talking about item number one, right?
Number one and two.
Okay, number one item, we have included all payment from our own end. If anybody has not received, it means either there's an issue with the bank. We are also aware that there are some little issues that we have also recognized, like some health institutions have received maybe 1 month without getting the other month. We have recognized that, and we are also working on that to be able to resolve that anymore. So we have finished payments up to December. Yeah, there are some pockets of issues which we are working on to
For number one?
Yeah, for number one.
Okay.
For number two, which is the accountant allowance, I want to say that we got the mandate in our office today this morning. But even before we got it, because we are aware of it, we have already started making preparation to pay it. Our payroll division has started working on the payment file, which we hope to upload this today. And so I want to believe today people should start getting their allowances.
Okay. So I think we are getting somewhere. You want to disagree with me?
No,
Okay.
That's fantastic. I just want to know those issues, because those issues that is delaying the finalization of the 25%. Maybe from their own ends.
From their own ends, it's straightforward. But from our own ends, there's quite a sizable number that is yet to palpate these alerts. And what I mean by that is you see institutions, like you said, complete institutions, only 1 month. You see complete institutions, an entire month, nobody has gotten it. You see people that migrated from the same civil service during those periods from one hospital to another, completely being missed out. Or people that were captured, but salary had not started dropping for them at that time, completely being missed out. So if you add up these things, the numbers are quite staggering. So it is our hope, and that is why I said Oga has been very cooperative, that a remitter report will be generated so that we'll look at some of those details and then find a way for a team with NARD to sit down and look at them so that some of the corrections that can be made can quickly be made, and then those other observations can now be raised to see how those issues too can be sorted out. Because it's easy to determine that these people should get the alert. Then there's also another problem of, for instance, one person getting 3 or 4 alerts, different amounts on the same year, different amounts. So those are some of the little issues that will need some sitting down together between our people and then your humble officer, so that we can look at how to solve it. It's just additional.
I think he has already noted all these issues, and they are trying to work out on them. I think he has said it. That they have taken note of some of these issues. What is most important is that this thing has started running, and I believe by now it must have been over 60%. And by the time we achieve 60%, I know it's not total, but at least we are making progress. And with the second one also, number 2, I hope by today or by tomorrow morning, we should start getting payments on this. And then maybe you should work with them to see how we can improve this number 1. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Number 3.
Honorable Minister, just like the nature of this is to start conciliatory. To me, it's like these issues we're talking about today. It's like doing the balance sheet. I know in banks you don't leave unless it balances that thing. So yes, it's easy to say the cup is half full, but today we are here to say the cup is half empty. How do we resolve that half empty? I think this is the point IPPIS needs to take into account. How does IPPIS resolve and ensures that 40% who have not received receive it? And that should be concentration. Kudos, well done for what has been done, but it does not address the conciliation today. Of course, those that are 0% done, which means we have 100% conciliation to do. I think this is what we should mainly concentrate on to ensure that those gaps are what we are here to put heads together to ensure that those gaps are solved. We can praise ourselves for what we have achieved, but it does not give us a conciliation. Thank you, sir.
I think the brother is doing his worst. I don't know what he meant by conciliation.
That's one thing. It's the title of the letter. It's the title of the letter.
I don't know whether consolation means 100% success or a certain level of percentage. Well, that's it. You can see they are all laughing. They are all laughing for you. But I think conciliation means, giving and taking. Isn't it? Trying to come together and agree on and balance it exactly. Yes. It doesn't have to be 100%. Yes. No, I know.
So another clarification, just so that we're on the same page. Thank you for the good news that the approximate allowance has been. So in the approval for the release, there's also non-clinical duty, and there's also another thing for COVID-19. So it's just to confirm that the monies that have been made available also contains that, so that we don't come back again to say that part is not in it. Yes.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah. Okay, I want to say that we have actually gotten a mandate for the apportionment allowance. We have gotten that mandate. And like I said, even before we got the mandate, because we are aware of it, some of the people have been following up the matter in our office, and we have started preparing for it, even before today. I want to say that we are getting the payment files, we are preparing the payment files ahead of getting the mandate. So we have received the mandate, and so we are going to start making payments as soon as the payment files are ready, which I believe before the close of work today. So I want to believe by this evening or tomorrow morning, people start getting the apportionment allowance. Then for the other aspect of the 35%, I want to. Huh?
Clinical duty for consultants, and then a COVID-19 backlog allowance for other health workers.
Is it part of the arithmetic?
Yes. COVID-19.
No, you are saying yes.
Because what I can see here, the one I see here is apportionment allowance for 2020. I can see 6 billion.
No, but do we have
6 billion, 20 million?
Yes, 20 million.
Yes,
so you are happy now? Mr. President? This is the issue. But let us bear with the slow pace of implementation. We know these issues. Some of these electronic issues can be very confusing sometimes. He said from tomorrow.
We mean for the remaining 25
No, they have finished as far as they are concerned. They have finished.
When we finish here, like I said, Oga has been fantastic on all of this. We will go and meet him and then have and see how this is. And I will report back to Oga the progress being made.
Yes.
Oh, I think it's fair.
It's fine.
Okay, number 3. Number 3, about 5 of their staff are involved. We understand 2 of them have already, would I say 1 of them has already resigned, and the other one, I understand, is also not a member of your association. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
No. Is there on the report, according to Minister of Health? Other one was the PMO.
Thank you.
We are talking about only 3 of these doctors now, as far as the CMD is concerned and the ministry.
Actually, sir, we are past this level, even with the ministry.
No, I'm saying we are past the level because we have now agreed to re-engage them, but in other institutions, which you are objecting to. Isn't it? Somebody raised the issue of secretary.
Yes, sir.
They were members of the executive, they were leaders in the institution, and I drew the attention of the Minister of Health to that issue. I said I also align with you because We don't allow leaders of unions to be expelled or to be redeployed to other organizations. They have to remain in places where they are. And maybe what I came to understand is that I forgot that these people, their tenure is just for 1 year. And the tenure of this gentleman must have ended by now. So we cannot claim to say that they are leaders of their association. That is my problem, that's my challenge.
Two of them?
Two of them, the president and the secretary, are currently ex-officials.
Oh, currently?
Yes.
Ex-officials.
Oh, ex-officials.
He's the welfare officer and the vice president that cannot be ex-officials, but they were exposed when this termination took place.
Two of them?
Yes. And then the other two persons that went through a disciplinary procedure, one is a senior registrar in anesthesia, then the other one is a medical officer, I think, who was moved from A&E to surgery department. He was the sitting president. So what we discussed with the ministry is that for those two, Professor Otobo, the board chairman, and a member of the ministry from Human Resource, and two NARD members will sit down to revisit their cases. I think that was the last presentation by the Honorable Minister of State before he did that day. So that's why I was saying that we have gone beyond this. After you identified with us, for those three people, there is a need for them to go back to that center and maintain status quo. So that we have passed that one. We will now concentrate on the two people that will join.
Have we passed it?
Yes.
You are ready to pass it.
Because the Honorable Minister that day categorically stated that this needs to be revisited.
But I'm sharing my thoughts now with you.
Yes, sir.
That these people might have finished their tenure.
No, they are ex-officials, sir. They are ex-officials. They are ex-officials.
You can always
If I finish my tenure as NARD
to bring them back.
if I finish my tenure as NARD president, sir, I will be immediate past president for another year. Just like my boss here, on the new expo. Just like my boss here, who is currently our leader at the national level, when he finishes his tenure, he will be immediate past president, but his own is even for 2 years.
On the expo.
On the expo. Yes, sir.
So what about the man who resigned?
The man that voluntarily resigned, sir, I gave us the detail of what happened. So he's on IPPS. He's on IPPS at that time. And then he applied for leave, which was approved. For previous years, it wasn't approved. For that year, it was approved. On the day he was going, another instruction came that he cannot proceed. So we acknowledge he now wrote a letter withdrawing his service. And they went and did a protest because he was the sitting secretary. They went and did a protest. And all of them were now sent to an investigative panel by the hospital to appear. When he went there, the investigative panel asked him to write a letter of appeal to withdraw his earlier withdrawal of service, which he did. And that committee, its final recommendation was that the management should look at his letter of appeal and reinstate him. The report of the investigative panel is with Ministry of Health. And that was the recommendation of that report. And after that, nobody communicated him, nobody communicated the union, and then it's just assumed that he's out of work.
No, but the same Minister of Health is recommending, since he has resigned, let us allow him to go.
So sir, that is the bone of contention. The same hospital that said we have accepted your resignation, the same hospital sent him to an investigative panel. The same hospital discussed with him in that investigative panel that write an appeal and take him back.
That we are disagreeing with the position of Minister of Health? Yes, let's go back to
the earlier position, which is reinstating.
No, let's go to.
In fact, I don't know if I have that letter here.
We are going back to the hospital to find out their position on the matter.
There's a document.
Maybe Minister of Health is working on the recommendation of the CMD. So yes,
permission. I think if NARD is comfortable with the existing arrangement for the committee, where Professor okay, but there's a committee with Professor Utobu, the board chairman, to address this issue. I think that what it is like. I think is it not going to address the entire issue? And you should allow them to address the entire issue.
Okay, if you are saying the matter has not been concluded, we can take it back to the committee to see. But let's hear from health and this officer whether this matter has been concluded or not. If we can still send it back to the committee.
They have 4 weeks.
They said they are finishing this week.
They have 4 weeks.
And the other thing is, Ministry of Health has not written us on who to put in that committee from now.
So keep, but you like 4 weeks, only for 4 weeks. You like 4 weeks. You like 4 weeks.
Last week, and that 4 weeks started from that last week.
Yes.
So yes.
But
even the chairman, the board chairman, told us it wouldn't be more than 2 weeks. That within 2 weeks he can submit his report. So,
yes, what I'm saying is that to discuss that now,
But representation,
yes.
but representation has not even been done.
yes, from now.
Okay, you are supposed to submit that. Minister told you direction.
What kind of red tape is it like?
The time is short.
You know, you are supposed to submit. You have to
Yes, send it.
Okay. And talk to them to report to the committee channel. Ask them to report to the committee channel.
Yes.
That will further facilitate.
Yes, we write to
Then did you want the committee to conclude and report to us? Okay. Okay. 4 and 5 are tied together. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we are talking about workload, and the ministry is confirming that they have already gotten waivers to employ about 23,000 workers to reduce that load. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. The ministry reported that.
Are you saying are you disagreeing with them?
Yes.
You are disagreeing? I love that. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Well, like he stated, I'm sure they will.
Sit down.
Okay. They can say they disagree because they have not palpated. Using our language.
They have not
Palpated, I'm using our medical language. They have not felt it yet.
Oh,
They
I
have
see.
not
Okay.
felt it. In reality, the truth is approvals have been given for recruitment. I can even make instance of my own institution. It's a long process, but I just recently got the federal characters waiver, which is the last stage before you can proceed. And we are just about to send letters to the relevant organization that needs to come for the sitting and the recruitment. So, and many other institutions of our colleagues, I know, like, maybe for purpose of making you relax, like Jabi, just for you to know that it's very specific. Jabi, for example, their own is in the budget office, and from budget they will still proceed to federal character. So different institutions are different levels of this implementation. So it is really what the ministry is saying is true, but to the much of their knowledge, it has left their table. And many people, after leaving that place, are hanging in budgets. So until it comes out from budget, they go to federal character. Some people are still in federal character. So this is just the thing I want you to know. But I want to believe that before the year rounds up, most of us will have been set to do the recruitment. That's the information.
I think we should all know the procedure. No, let's clarify on the procedure. I believe we all know how it is done. When the head of service gives you a waiver, you will go to other places to reconfirm it. You will go to Ministry of Health. It's the Ministry of Health that will give you now. Okay, you need that for that. Yes, I agree. Yes, so you go to Ministry of Health for the information and for the confirmation. Then you go to Budget Office. Then you go to Federal Character. Is that all? Some of you don't go to Civil Service Commission? I see, okay. Okay. So this is all issues of implementation processes and the rest of it. So we understand what you are talking about now.
Yes, sir. If you look at it, we're talking about 23,000. Today is 10th November. We have 50 days to the expiration of this year. And then we'll now start talking about another project cycle. And this has been the perennial thing every year. I can tell you, if those waivers are made active today, there are not 23,000 people that will pick up those jobs.
Yes.
The reason being, they have been waiting with their application, maybe some since last year, some from the beginning of the year. And now they have either picked it up somewhere, private, or have left the country. This is what we are saying. Now, when you juxtapose that against the enormous work that resident doctors do, and we are happy the ministry is finally taking a step that we need to finalize here today with respect to the workload. That is why we are still emphasizing the issue of the no work no pay. Today, the papers you have asked us to bring, they're here. This is even an MOU between NMA, NARD, and the Ministry of Labour, and this is one of the items on it. There's a letter from Ministry of Health to the Office of the Head of Service with respect to this 1-for-1 replacement. And it's attached on this document that you have asked us to bring today. Now, with respect to the excess workload, which is number 4 here, the ministry has agreed, the chief executives have sat down, they've agreed, after 24 hours of call, doctors will go and rest. The implementation, we are still waiting for that. We also agreed on Thursday that a task force will be set up to be given 2 months. And in these 2 months, you don't have to visit all those hospitals to get their rota, their call duty rosters, to sit down and implement a framework that can last. We also said on Thursday that an advisory note should come from the Ministry of Health to chief executives. The reason why we brought that up is that while some chief executives, like my Oga, when he's scared, the president saw him, every time he sees him, he's smiling, because Oga is great at his job. Some of the chief executives are not like that. They hide under some of these things to just do whatever it is they like, which is why we're saying Ministry of Health, even if it's not directive, let it be an advisory note. That we union leaders and our chapters in those centers can hold on to and say, Oga, wait till this chorus I cannot work. This is the paper we have gotten from Ministry of Health, so that we can implement some of those things. The task force, I thought today we'll be talking about, okay, call duty limit, advisory notice out, task force for reviewing work framework will now be constituted, and then we'll now give them terms of reference and timeline, so that in this consultation we know we have sorted out this one. That was what we discussed on Thursday.
So it's still progressing, no problem. But I think we need to remind the ministry to put out this advisory note. I think it's important. And it's to facilitate, to fast track it. So I think this one is a big progress. So number 6. Yes. Let me see.
An MOU and 2 letters from the Ministry of Health, the Office of the Head of Service.
Many of us have been given waivers to recruit. The issue is they say if they are going to do it as people leave, how many times will the committee sit to do such replacements? Because an interagency consideration all the time before you replace any staff to avoid abuse. You expect federal character to be there, head of service needs to be there, the Ministry of Health needs to be there. So, and then if you have a board, the board will be there. So, with all these agencies coming, how often will you be sitting to replace one-on-one? So this is I'm giving you the argument of the ministry. So this is where they now say all that is there at the end of the locum tenens should come to fill in the gap while we wait for the end of the year. And those who were on locum and probably are still interested can also be adopted thereafter. Largely, in most cases, that's what they are expected. But for some institutions, for some exigencies, not all the not 100% of all the locum may be taken. But for some of us, we make it like a principle. That's personal. That if you are there for me when I'm in need, I should be there for you when I also have the means. I think this is just how some of these things are. So, locum is supposed to cover, and it's squarely for clinical staff. Then that's very. But the major problem is when these are facing.
If you read the document,
let's make progress. In the meantime, let's play down the issue of one-for-one because it's not formalized.
So if you read the one-for-one document, you see that these meetings are reviewed by all these. It's supposed to happen quarterly. All these things were discussed. Now let's reappraise the existing arrangement. The existing arrangement now has waiver for 23,000 with 50 days left to the end of the year, and no employment has been done. And these people have applied, some from the beginning of the year, some from last year. And these bottlenecks, even without the one-for-one, those bottlenecks are still preventing it. It needs a second look. The one-for-one that can sit quarterly can also reduce some of
nobody is disputing that, but what we are saying in the meantime, since it has not been formally adopted, head of service has not issued any circular on it. Let us hold on to it until a clearer clarification is obtained from the Office of Head of Service.
And this local thing just give me information. They're on this side. I think the major issue, sir, is that the committee that sits in the Ministry of Health to give this approval is usually represented from the head of service, from budget office, from federal character. So my worry is why does, after the approval is obtained, why is it that the paper must still go through all those processes again? I think if there is a way an understanding can be reached, you have to send, if you are going to send somebody high enough to be able to represent well. Not after the approval from a committee that you were part of. Then it has to be sent back to you again for endorsement and all that. So I think this is where the major problem is. Because this committee that sits to give this waiver approval in the Ministry of Health is chaired by the minister. Either the coordinating minister or in his absence, the Minister of State for Health sits on this committee. So those coming from the DG budget office should be somebody who can take such a decision. And there's others from the Accountant General and every other offices that come there should send people who, after the meeting is over, there should be no reason why this paper must go round through the cycle again. I think if this is done, all these agitations will go down. That's my thinking.
No, sir. Thank you. I will need to appreciate our order for bringing this out. Now, this is for new employment. While you are employed, people leave. Which is why we are very interested in the contents of this document to be read. When you read it, there's new employment to employ people. Those that are there. For instance, I made the example that I am an SR1. I will write exams for 2, and I will become a consultant. I will exit residency. Yeah. For the remainder of that year, there is already budgeted SR1 salary for the entire year. That will not come to me. That will just terminate. That is where or somebody that will just, even, what is the common thing now? Up and leave the country. Or up and go to NGO. Or up and go to private facility. That one-for-one will now cater for those things so that quarterly, these reviews, I mean, people are supposed to do their jobs. Quarterly, people, if you read the contents, all these things were discussed so that you can replace those ones that are exiting the system and won't have so much strain. Now, Oga Center is one of the centers I can confidently say anywhere. He doesn't have those ones. He said the president is here. He's a national officer too. He doesn't have these challenges because he is close to Abuja. He is always coming to Abuja to follow. It's not all the CMDs that do that. So while you are there, in fact, we have CMDs here that have terminated doctors rather than even employ them, and we're discussing their matter here. So it's important that while we are taking care of new employment, these ones that are exiting the system, this policy helps. Government needs to take a second look at it.
Okay, we'll take a second look at it, but In the meantime, it has not been formally adopted, but we will talk to heads to go back to the head of the civil service and see whether they can reconsider it. The letter they wrote to them is there. Somebody can use it. Please go back to the head of service, discuss this issue with them, agree on the way forward on how to block all the loopholes that I'm talking about, and then we'll move forward. Let them issue a circular on this. Then you can use it to do this system. Yes. Okay. So CMD and the Tachi and Health, please take note of this. Are we on number 6 or number 7? Yes, number 6. Promotion areas to medical officers in both states and federal health institutions.
Now we have clarified that. For the purpose of this conversation, it's just for federal. And that
you are compiling the list?
The ministry has asked chief executives.
We are to discuss that day we're talking about tomorrow submitting so that we have a figure to what it is to go to budget office with it. So I don't know if the Ministry of Health here now has those submissions and what is the figure for those promotion areas.
Now who is to compile the list? I was thinking that
but on the platform where we share with the DHS, usually any of this kind of requests is posted, it's not, and usually when it posted, we respond to the platform.
So guys, back to the ministry. Committee of CMDs have not seen your request to send the compilation.
But it's also for you, you can also help us. You can also help us to, through your branches, to reach out to the CMDs for compilation of these things.
While the Ashmon can talk to Oga and Oga will submit, there are plenty of those CMDs that will not listen to our leaders.
These are the conclusion of
Oga, they are examiners, they are teachers, our parents.
On Thursday, we ended on at 10. We will not conclude the meeting. At the conclusion of the meeting, that will not for the resolutions, including
But that was not the that was not what was agreed. Here, it was categorically stated that the CMDs were asked to make submission.
They will be asked to make
Honorable Minister, sir.
Yes.
Here is Minister of Health is here. Chairman or Vice Chairman of CMDs is here. These are the two players in this matter. Compiled list and send so that the quantum of arrears for 5 years is real. I think we should leave this meeting with that message. Yes. So that with that message, so that we can get this thing effective.
Sir, I gave us an information last week in this meeting that our prior interaction with the Minister of Finance, he categorically stated that he wants to know the quantum of amount for the money. He's waiting for it already. So there has to be timeline.
The first thing we do is to inform the CMDs. Most of them are not aware. Let us inform all the CMDs.
The letter should go out today, please.
They are not communicated, so there should be a letter out today communicated.
No, but you see, it's because of them, because if there is no letter,
We need that letter.
All of them will, yes. I think we need a formal communication. And the platform is just for you.
They have a platform.
Chief Paul, I hope you are listening to what Oga has decided for us here, which is a letter should be out today with a timeline on when they will finish submitting and a timeline for payment. At least that's the other request that we're making.
The timeline for payment is they cannot determine it. Let's be sincere. Can they determine it? They cannot.
No, they cannot.
But we can give timeline for submission of the list. And then the ministry will compute. The ministry will compute and take it to Ministry of Finance for implementation.
Because I'm sure chief executives must have these documents with them for every year. So it's just a matter of transmitting it. Any chief executive who has any arrears on his head is always worried, and he usually has a ready document. And usually he's even supposed to capture it in every budget annually. This is the process. No, let's just find a solution so that if these have not been funded over the last 5 years, these informations are available. So it's just a matter of transmitting it immediately to the Federal Ministry of Health so that they can compile so that we know the total quantum as the first step. So Paul, please, I'm sure that this is something that is possible to do.
Voice up. Voice up. Voice up. Voice up.
Okay, we now agree. CMD. Let me first of all welcome the Honorable Minister of Finance, who is here. The level of commitment to this course is not without thought. We are willing and ready to listen, and we are committed to taking actions on whatever is supposed to be done, and we will do it by the grace of God. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for coming. So, CM.
Of how much it was so that we can talk about clearing. I think the chief executives can do us a solid by submitting this list within the next 3 days.
Yes.
So that we shouldn't have a guy here and waste his time.
With your kind permission, sir, I think practically all of us are aware of the quantum of the arrears we all owe. But the issue is, thank God the Honorable Minister is here, we were all told that there's a committee in the ministry or in the Accountant General's office that addresses arrears of promotions. And so all such submissions are made to them. And we only wait for when funds are available and they are willing to pay. And that's why it backdates to as far back as 5, 6, 7 years in some cases. So that is why the issue is that. So if, for example, as the president of NMA was saying, if we had that capacity of rolling over our arrears to the next budget and be able to pay them through our IPPIS directly on our platform, I mean via our institution on IPPIS, maybe it will have solved the problem. But since the way it is currently run is to have it done through the committee, we just have to only compile and submit. In fact, there were a few institutions that, after pressures from their local ARD, sometimes we are forced to the angle and source funds to pay, and it creates more problems sometimes. Because when you now pay, when the Auditor General people come, it is an abuse of financial speculation, and you begin to run up and down again. So a lot of our people are a bit scared to even do anything, even when you are under pressure. So these are some of the issues. Thank you very much.
So, Honorable Minister, what we have identified, Honorable Minister, finance and labor. What we have identified is to make sure within the next 72 hours that the CMDs transmit individual quantum of arrears, promotion arrears for their institutions with the Federal Ministry of Health, so that the Federal Ministry of Health can transmit it to finance, so that we can be able to have a way forward with the problems we are having. Now, the issue we were discussing when we stepped in, which is stepping in at the right time, Honorable Minister of Finance, sir, yes, is the time that, even though we do not yet know the quantum, that the arrears will be paid.
Thank you, economists for labor and employment. ComSec, directors here present. The leadership of NARD. And enemy, or rather enemy and NARD. First of all, let me thank you for the warm reception. Though I'm the one to apologize for coming late, for even keeping you waiting to the extent that you even started the meeting late, probably because you were waiting. Thank you. Let me thank you also for the cooperation you have had so far, for the relatively successful initial agreement and meeting the terms of that agreement as best as we could. And also for your understanding that, you know, with a commitment made with the best of intentions, as we've just heard, financial regulations to meander around and to overcome, to have delivery of funds. In this particular case of the promotion arrears, it's a service-wide thing, it's an ongoing phenomenon. In your own case, we have given ourselves 72 hours to dimension it, and you will agree. When you want to agree to a payment, you must at least have some idea of that payment. That notwithstanding, I will say that under the able leadership of Mr. President, a lot has changed, a lot has improved, and it does include the finances, relatively speaking. The difficulties are receding, and the smoothness of the ability to pay as and when due is returning and improving and increasing. And we expect that to be maintained. We still have, you know, some bulkiness, some blockages, and some tightness, which is natural because it's economics. Unlimited wants, limited needs, and we have to manage that. Subject to that, I would say that once we know the figure, we will talk about it in the sense that we have to prioritize, but at the same time, we have to give ourselves a chance to meet the obligation. So if we say we can pay in 4 times, and you say no, do it in 3, we will talk about why and if we can actually. So I think once we agree and you have some kind of certainty and reasonableness, you can't kick something so far into the future that it becomes meaningless to the potential recipient. So that's our commitment. Despite, if you look at the situation, and it's by no means an easy one, but it's our job to manage it. If you look at even within the context of what I would call the political, if not the geopolitical headwinds, there was by the financial markets last Wednesday. They looked at the economic fundamentals and the financial record of the country, and the bond markets backed funding in the international market, which is a pre-agreed and pre-approved and pre-planned funding, not just a knee-jerk reaction. And likewise, and importantly, there is non-bank, non-debt, non-interest-bearing funding that doesn't need debt servicing, that we are also having success with as a result of Mr. President's his interactions, global economic diplomacy. More and more is coming by way of investment. But I must also say that we will end up, and we have to end up depending on our own resources, which includes when people are paid, whether it is their promotion areas or even their salary, that they save some. So we must empower ourselves so that people can have savings. I know you say the money is not enough, but it doesn't matter what level you have to save. And so that's the direction we're going in, and will make things easier. But for now, when you give us the figure, we have to have another conversation, because we cannot just say in the dark. I mean, there's a limit, and you can say yourself that by the time you stretch it beyond such a period, it doesn't make sense. So we know what's a reasonable period, and we'll prioritize as we have done in the past. Thank you.
So I think it's very clear. We said we see the figures. We cannot give any timeline. So the timeline you are given for this is 3 days. You think it's reasonable within 3 days we can finish it? CMD? For the figure, yes, for the figure. Yes, it's possible. Okay, this circular has not even been issued out. CMD, the letter has not even been issued out to the colleagues. That's another problem. So why don't we make it between now to early Monday or Friday? Between now to Friday. It can't be out because he's still here, they are still here. It may not be out today. It can
because of work on Friday.
How would it be out today? The minister is not even here. Let's leave it between now to Friday. And then, what is important is to get the figures. This Friday, this time of Friday, this Monday. I think it's the same thing. Okay. So number 7. And this what is remaining has to do with So he said as far as they are concerned, they have already finished payment because it is going. But they also identify some other issues having to do with the institutions themselves. Some of them having to do with the accounts of the officers concerned. So together they will work out the issues. They will address the issues together with the union to see why we are still talking about 60% when they have finished the payment. So this one, countrymen, they said they have already started processes even before getting the money. They have gotten now your approval, and they said by tomorrow this will start hitting the council. Yes.
When they finish, we come back to the ministry. So that person that will go do that supra, finish that residency, come back, is not a fellow. If he was in the hospital, he will be on Commerce 6. But in the ministry, he's on Commerce 5. He's a level higher than me. But because he's in the ministry and other agencies like FDCN and all that, they are at a grade level lower than they should be. If he was in the hospital, he would be my organ. He would tell me, Suleiman, why are right? Go and see this patient. But because he's in those agencies of government, we are now at par. So that is universal applicability.
No, but it's somebody's choice now to work in a particular field.
It's the same civil service. And it's the same commerce table. It's not a different commerce table. It's the same salary structure.
Yes. No,
the same doctor, the same qualification.
Let him go to the hospital while he was. If somebody chooses to work in a different place, okay.
Head of service will address it.
Okay.
We have a reservation with the head of service.
Why do you have that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't think it's that. The reservation is this.
So
The head of service, and the Honourable Minister, I'm happy he's here, and I must commend him. In the Ministry of Health, all the engagement
don't bribe him. Yes.
No. All the engagement that NARD has had is with him, and we commend him for his perseverance and his patience with us. Now, the head of civil service, the last time they were in a meeting, Oga Chair, our chief head chair, he said that I am on Congress 5, that is illegal, I should be on Congress 4. In essence, they are saying skipping of grade level is illegal. It is not, sir. There is a court pronouncement. That court pronouncement was sent to the Ministry of Health. Eventually, the head of service, years back, we're talking about institutional memory here, years back, agreed that the skipping of the grade level be applied to medical officers. It was applied at Congress 2. So everyone on 2 went to 3, 3 went to 4, 4 went to 5, 5 went to 6, 6 went to 7, 7 stayed in 7 because there's nowhere else to go. Now, for some reason this year, from the head of service office, all waivers that came, unless you go and make an extra push by the CMS, came with Congress 2, a grade level lower. For consultants, entry level that is supposed to be.
If you go and push, you can get it.
But the official position of the head of service is that it is illegal. That's why we have circulars.
It is illegal because it was not covered by a circular.
No, it's covered by a circular. This is a circular.
Oh, okay, so they cannot say.
This is a circular.
So if it's illegal by a circular, they cannot say it's illegal.
Yes.
Honourable Commissioner, Honourable Ministers, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the letter has actually been written to the head of service with attachments of all these previous positions of government on this matter. And I've also spoken to the head of service. She's going to write back to us on the position of the service on the matter. When she writes back to us, I believe that if she's now contrary to what we think, that's when we need to fight. Because all the documents, circulars in the past by Goni and all of them have been made available to the office of the head of service. But we don't put people on grade level at the ministry. So and that's why we have to refer to the head of service to point out these are the issues, these are the issues, and these are the
Unauthorized people of the. This is from Ministry of Health. This one is from Ministry of Head of Service.
Yes, if you read the content, it says it's applied to medical officers. That's just the heading.
No, what? Unauthorized keeping of grade by medical staff, Federal Ministry of Health.
Yes.
So what they are saying, I have to refer you to my earlier letter number so dated 4th November 2013, copy attached for ease of reference, and wish to add that the content should apply to all health workers.
Yes.
So
The earlier communication was a court pronouncement that skipping has now come to stay for compliance.
However, this is pending the outcome of appeal filed by the ministry.
No, that appeal is not in existence.
So what is it?
Nobody appealed.
Nobody appealed.
Nobody.
So we have entered courts in and out to look for those documents. Nobody appealed. And this is 10 years ago.
Okay. Let's take this back to the ministry. Let them sort this out. Clear everything with head of service before we come to it.
I am proud to say that we're actually in agreement with the Ministry of Health on this. Yes, sir. Pass my
Okay.
It is
Not only the head of service, that's the problem.
at the level of the ministry, when they give waivers to individual hospitals to employ medical officers or registrars, they specify MES 2. When they put consultants, they put MES 5, which is in contrary to all these circulars and agreements we had in the past. And again, when these hospitals employ a registrar, a resident doctor, on Commerce 3, after captured by IPS, his salary will come at Commerce 2. It is happening now in Ilorin, teaching hospital in Ilorin. So the problem is not head of service. The problem is still Ministry of Health, and even at the level of the IPPIS. The way they are doing it, we don't know. But the truth is, there is a systematic, some say there is a verbal directives to the CNDs that skipping of Commerce 2 must stop. There are these things, and it is happening practically. Somebody has been employed, his employment data is Commerce 3, but his salary, he has sent to us from IPPS is Commerce 2. A resident, we have them this year. So this is the information I want to give us. So if we want to squarely address it, based on agreement we had, chaired by the SGF at the high level body, these documents we are reading, these circulars, they are a product of a high level meeting chaired by the SGF, and circulars from the federal government came from the head of service and from the ministry. And this thing happened 2013, 2014. And we had conciliations meeting like this. And people come and they are reversing it and making it an issue for industrial dispute. It's not good. This is the information.
Just to correct that the ministry is not the one that determines the thing. For waivers are not exclusively approved by the ministry. It is with the participation of the office of the head of service. I don't know where the head of service office is represented here, because they should be able to say, talk about it. They are the one that say, this is the entry level for this cadre. This is the entry level for this cadre. We don't. And not only for doctors, for across all cadres. They will say, if you want to employ a technician, this is the entry level. If you want to employ technology, they are the one that tell us.
I was not going to say this, but I think it would be important to advise the Prime Minister to still look inwards into the Federal Ministry of Health. Because following these consultations in 2013-2014, waivers for hospitals employment kept coming from head of service, and they never reflected this new trend. All of a sudden, after the federal government, the president, Commander-in-Chief, granted an express waiver to be issued by the Federal Ministry of Health, we suddenly started seeing these things evoking. And to even make matters worse, it came up at the time where we started having agitations of commerce. We have been around, we have been sharing nobody. We know that once these agitations come, there are elements within the Ministry of Health. If the Honourable Minister wants, we can privately give him information. There are elements within the Ministry of Health who stoke member of disruption. I want to put this on record, the Honourable Minister of Labour. If you finish this, my work has not ended. I am a member of MDCAN, and MDCAN is seriously aggrieved on this development as well. Let me now give you a more shocking information. In my hospital 2 weeks ago, I participated in interview employment. We had a waiver for 11 contractors. But because of this obnoxious thing you put, we didn't get one. That is a foremost eye center in the country. We didn't get one applicant. We got the waiver for 26 resident doctors. Because of this obnoxious thing, we got 3 applicants, and guess what? We will give them appointment, they will use us as a stepping preparation ground. In 3 months, they are all going. And so when we come here, we are discussing these matters. They are not as simple as we make them sound on this table. They are really, really fundamental. So, Honourable Minister, sir, there is a need to look inwards in the Federal Ministry of Health. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Sadly, the letter coming back from the service should come back favorably first.
First. Well, the head of service of the Federation, I spoke to her on Thursday, and she told me she was going to isolate the issue and respond very quickly to it. She personally told me that she asked us that the issue will be isolated and to be responded to personally. So we'll give her some time to then ask people to follow up on it.
No, can we have a committee that will follow this up?
No, the PS is actually following up, the PS of the ministry. She is mandated to follow up.
It will make some sense if NARD can also join in that.
NARD, the representation.
There is communication from the head of service. The circular he gave, what we are talking, was communicated and signed by Goni Aji. Bukar Goni Aji was head of service. So if head of service will write something, after 10 years, we'll jettison it. Whatever this one will write, another one will jettison it. Why are we going?
But this one is 2013 now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he wrote, we have passed that stage. We have passed the stage of a head of service talking to us about speaking. We have passed that stage. If we are going to be doing that, it means whatever this one is doing, after 10 years when I become head of service, he will be waiting for me and resident doctors will go on strike. It's not good for the system. Boni Baba Bukar Aji is far senior than this current head of service. He was head of service 12 years ago. And he has written to us. And we are still waiting for this one. There is crisis on ground. To be candid, we have passed the stage of a head of service, right? And Boni Baba Aji wrote this document based on the high-level body decision chaired by the SDF that directed him to write this document.
You see, former president, thank you very much for the information. But what I want to say is that don't draw us back. We are talking about setting up a committee to go to the head of service, the current head of service. She's in charge now. Let us talk to her to address this issue. Every administration is an administration. No, you are part of it.
Sir, can I read something from this letter? Please.
Let's move.
Yes, I'm going to move. It is the movement that I want to.
You see, leading this cannot help matters. Go there and meet them. Put this one.
I write to refer to my earlier letter dated and wish to add that the content should apply to all health workers, including medical officers in the federal service. And, Now, this letter was written for Congress after a court judgment granting skipping. NMA and NARD now engaged government for the meeting that the past president was now talking about. That meeting now resolved and directed the head of service to apply the contents to medical officers. This question has already been answered. It has already been answered.
So why are we having the problem?
It's for the head of service to acknowledge this and go back to acting on it.
So we are saying the same thing now. Let's go back to the service.
We are saying we set a committee. Why are we setting a committee on the matter that we decided? It has been implemented. Sorry, sir. Let us make it clear. Because this is not just a NARD issue.
Yes.
NMA will not ever again subject this issue to any sort of discussion. Yes. It is very clear. It has been rested. NMA is already implemented. So discussions. It has been implemented. Yes, as in the this is what we
You see, we cannot just be talking like that. You see, we need to have some decorum, please. You cannot just be talking like that. Let's do it with some sense of decorum. Yes.
Honorable Minister, the issue of skipping started within the tax sector involving other healthcare workers. This letter is telling from the office of the head of service of the federation that that rule should apply to everybody within the health sector.
Yes, we agree.
Now, the problem we are having is that commerce is being isolated. Every other person is skipping. Why are we going back to only isolating those on commerce not to skip? But everybody else is still skipping. So if there has been a communication gap in the letter they are sending, if it's an error, is that subsequent letters must be corrected, taking into account that this already exists. Not that we need anything else from the head of service to tell us that it exists. It exists. So they should just correct the letter they send out.
So, way forward.
Way forward is that whoever it is that sends those letters that gives the categorization of the entry point at employment.
It's the same head of service.
And yes, you should take into cognizance that they have their own circular that says it exists. That says the entry point is 3-3.
That's why we're saying Minister of Health should approach head of service to clarify this issue.
Which we have done.
Okay. So what we are saying is that subsequent letters, earlier letters that have said that were wrong will be corrected, and not that we are revisiting this issue.
No, we are not.
Okay, thank you.
So sir, finally on these two things, in case we go to head of service and their clarification is that skipping is still illegal, you know that another trouble is coming. There's no clarification. Then secondly, sir, timeline on when we were going to get their withdrawal, their correction of those waivers, their correction of those entry-level appointments. Timeline for it. And arrears, yes, approved arrears.
Can we give this timeline here now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How? We cannot give the timeline unless you face the head of service, we clarify this, and then whoever is supposed to implement it will give us the timeline. I hope you understand me.
Yeah, but I
we cannot talk about any timeline now when we are not aware of what is going to happen.
This is an inter-ministerial sitting, sir. I believe there is enough, more than enough capacity here.
In head of service here, head of service is not here. They are not here. They are not here.
They caused the problem and then they are not here.
This is the issue. We didn't know. This is the issue.
I think the position as expressed by the NMA president with this timeline and the arrears is where we should be heading to now.
No, the moment this issue is resolved, arrears will be automatic. I'm sure the minister is always ready. When you calculate the arrears, give it to him, you will figure it.
The first thing is that the ministry is committed to ensuring that the Minister of Health, that we deal with this very quickly. And that's why I personally took it over and went to see the head of service over it, despite that the letter had been written by permanent secretary of the ministry. And the head of service has promised that she was going to attend to it expeditiously. So we just have to, that this happened only on Thursday. So I believe that the commitment that we have shown demonstrates that it's a priority issue that we want to quickly resolve. But clearly we cannot say it's tomorrow or next tomorrow, but it's a priority, obviously. Because we feel that this is not an issue that will cause, but the correction does not lie with us. So where the correction lies, we have to point it out that this is what is happening, so that the person who needs to do the correction can do it. So that's what we have done. So I think I want to suggest we move. We have given our commitment that we will follow up this very closely.
No, I want them to be satisfied with where we are.
May I ask at this point
that the Honourable Minister for Labour, the Honourable Minister of Finance, join the Ministry of Health in this crusade to ensure that it comes faster. Yes, so that it will come faster. It needs to come faster. If you want to remove timeline, if you choose very, very powerful conciliators we have here, two out of the, if all the three conciliators meet and say, head of service, this is what we have discussed, this issue will be corrected ASAP.
I'm in disputes.
No, let's have confidence in ourselves. Let's have confidence in your employer. I'm sure that you could do that, and they have been doing it. Let's give them the opportunity to do it. If we have to come back here, fine. If we don't need to come back, the full process will continue, and then you will get your address. Number 9.
We're already trying to have a meeting again with the Salaries and Wages Commission. I've spoken to the chairman, and we wanted to have a meeting. That meeting should happen this week. I can't say exactly when for now because it's not only me that's going to be part of it. According to Minister will be part of it, Chairman, the Salaries and Wages Commission, representative for Minister of Labour will be part of it, to look at the table as it affects all health workers, not just doctors. And once we have looked at that table as it affects all health workers, and as government we are satisfied. We are now going to invite the leadership of all the 3 registered associations and unions, discuss the table with them again, and let them, well, at least have a knowledge, because we are not sure they will agree with us, but at least have a knowledge of what government has done before it is made public. That's the pathway that we have outlined for the release of that table. But we want a situation where there is some level of behind-the-scenes consultation before it is released, because where we are today started from the release of the table.
And by you, Mr. President.
So we don't want to go into the same pathway again. So that's the pathway we are trying to outline. Thank you.
No, sir. It will be difficult to make progress. Actually, okay. I have to be very clear about this. Okay. October salary was paid. This same relativity we are talking about is what is in that October salary. Now, sir.
So what do you want to be there? Because you have not finished it.
The October salary, sir. It has finished already.
What I'm saying, this issue has not been resolved.
No, sir. As far as the unions are concerned, as far as NARD is concerned, the NMA president is here too. This issue has been finalized. It has been finalized. Since it's not an issue of now. Sir, if I take you back to memory, in January, I can speak for NARD. In January, NARD wrote, not just the Ministry of Health, but the salaries and wages commission.
It is not just NARD and MA that in the medical in the health sector. We have Jehesu, we have nurses. So we have to have the consent of the 3 of you before the sector.
This statement.
Knowledge, yes.
This statement, the knowledge of the other health workers, yes. Even throw away the word consent, is a CBA discussion. Why is this professional allowance table being dragged into a CBA discussion? This professional allowance table is not CBA. To say there is knowledge of other unions or consent of other unions is a CBA conversation. That's why on Thursday I said we're using CBA to drag professional allowance, we're using professional allowance to drag CBA. When we asked when the CBA will complete, we were told will be completed, we were told 2 to 3 months. That means we're in next year already. So that table, based on the current existing salary, is to be implemented now with the 7-year arrears. With the 7-year arrears from 2019. Now, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Minister of Finance is surprised. So let me just clarify on that. There's a CBA that agreed anytime you touch basic salary on that complex, it should affect allowances. It has never affected allowances until NMA and NARD approached the Salaries and Wages Commission. They eroded that relativity by adding 40,000 across board, and they further eroded it by adding 1.7%. So let it not be made here that NMA protested, so it was withdrawn. No, it was withdrawn because errors were made in it. Errors were made in the correction. And they were corrected. Those errors have been corrected. To now drag it into a CBA conversation, honestly, it is not just an injustice. It is criminal.
That's correct.
Sorry, Honorable Minister.
Mind your language, Mr. President.
Honorable Minister,
I think we're finished it.
Honorable Minister, sir, the issue of relativity is not something new. The issues in the CBA.
What you are talking about, I will agree with you, but Honorable Services has already cleared the issue. That they are working in closer concert with the commission, and very soon they will agree on what to do. Don't forget your other sisters and brothers. You don't want us to talk about them.
No! Honorable Minister, the issue of discussing with other unions is about new issues. The issue of this circular is correction of errors that existed in our own allowances on the existing relativity that's already been here. That
they pay salaries to those utilities. Even last month's salary was paid to those utilities with no issue. So we don't need to discuss the current union because not a new thing.
Sir, Mr. President, Mr. President, please, we know you have concerns. Please let us make progress. If you begin to do this, there is no end to this. I know you are enjoying your strike action, but we are not.
Wait for it.
Okay, casualization is not fashion. Specialist allowance number 11 years. Specialist allowance. So it's ongoing CBA. Hold on. We'll have other explanations to it. So, okay, let's hear you now.
Sir, currently on the comments table, I told those
we're talking about number 11.
Specialist allowance, yes. Currently, I made an example with myself. I am on comments 5, SR1. That comments table, right now, currently, has a specialist allowance table for comments 5. It is not being implemented. If you go to the IPPIS platform, there's an element, specialist allowance. It has been deactivated. It does not land. These are things that have been budgeted for. What we are saying is implement it. Then the remaining demand that specialist allowance go to other doctors is a CBA matter. But this one is already there, implemented.
I've heard you. But there are other explanations coming from the Minister of Health. Yes, please let us listen to them.
This is another issue that we are waiting to the head of service to point the attention of the office to it. How the allowances are not being paid is something that we can not explain, and that's why when was appointed as we've asked the office of the head of service and pointed it out to the office that these allowances, specialist doctors are entitled to it, it is not being paid. So that she can then tell us if there is any reason why it is not being paid, or if it is an error and it to be corrected. So that's what we have done.
You see what we are saying. It's not just enough for us to say yes, we agree, go ahead and pay. So when it comes to payment, and there's no...
They are even not the one that will pay.
They are not the ones who are paying. We have to have an instrument. Okay.
The genesis of this problem. Before now, resident doctors who are currently on this Comments 5 that are not being paid were not considered as specialists. But some years back, they now became specialists because they are given membership in the different colleges. And if you're a specialist member, so if before, when they were just resident doctors, they were not being paid, now they are members of a lower level compared to a full fellow who is the senior, who is the more senior person. So everybody should be paid proportionately at his level. It shouldn't be removed completely. I think that's the argument that is being pushed forward. Because, I mean, it's the same thing that we're being argued forward about from Medical and Dental Council saying they are not considering them as specialists. And that's one thing that they said is not true. They didn't say that. So we now ask them to just write the communication so that this will be known by the ministry. And then the thing will be implemented. I think the Medical and Dental Council
that has stopped paying the payment.
No.
It is from finance.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
And finance must have stopped payment because of some reasons.
That's what I'm telling you, sir.
Okay.
When IPPIS came on board, it was considered that all resident doctors were not specialists.
So what do we do now? What do we do now to correct that mistake? How do we activate?
To activate, it's already there. It's deactivated. Yes, it was just deactivated. They should activate that element, and that's all.
Okay. Let me see more. Most of them will have reached the tail end of them. But not all of them we can finish within 1 or 2 weeks. Can we afford to continue to go on strike in the next 1 or 2 weeks? I don't know. I don't think because we are not attaining 100% of what we want, we should continue to go on strike. Let us have some sense of reason and see how we can go about this.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. So, we have all been part of these conversations, and I make bold to say that on every item we have discussed, we have discussed them. We have not reached their finality on all of them. We have processes that are starting on some, we have disagreements on some, and we have agreements on what to do on some. So let us agree. For instance, professional allowance table, specialist allowance, 1-for-1 policy replacement, the CBA issue, some of these other issues, even the casualization thing. We've not even had our first meeting. Even the committee to revisit the Lokoja issue has not even had its first meeting. So there are, all these things are just starting, there are conversations, and in the actual sense of the guideline or the minimum requirement that the NEC gave, there's nothing to take back to NEC. To be very honest. We have had conversations. On some, we have agreed how to move forward. On others, we have not agreed at all. So that even if, for some reason, the Strike Monitoring Committee, the Extended National Officers Committee, agree with the NOC that let us call a National Executive Council meeting, present these things as they are. When we come back with a result from the National Executive Council, let it be that we came, we agreed, we went back. It's in the proper perspective that we are discussing them. A lot of them, we have said what we need to do. A lot of them, action has not happened. I can give you an instance. Lokoja issue, professional allowance, specialist allowance, all these things, there's no action. There are still conversations.
Don't say there is no action now.
The action is that we have sat down on the table and we have had conversations. Yes, sir.
No, Lokoja issue, there is action on it. The committee has been set up.
That is yet to meet.
Yes, but it's yet to meet.
Yes, sir.
So, can you say that there is no action?
I can say that there is no finality to the issue.
No, but
yes.
We have started doing something now.
I'm not disagreeing, sir, that something has started. I'm saying there is no finality to it.
Before now, you have not.
Because I'm going to be gauged on how many have been taken to the final. That's what the NOC will be gauged on.
No. We cannot gauge you to the final.
Because it is what is expected that we gauge government on, taking these things to the final.
No, it's okay. So if we are saying it has to be to final, then it's better we don't continue to meet like this. Because I don't see us finalizing this thing in the next 1 or 2 months.
No, sir. Some of them we can actually finalize. The professional allowance.
But if you are saying it has to be 100%.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, so what I'm saying.
Okay, sir. On this paper, these 17 issues, what is one issue that has been finalized?
Like the number 1, number 2.
It has not been finalized.
It has been finalized because
No, it has not. It has not. Because we are still going to wait for tomorrow to see the alert for their contributors. We still have to go back and see the remitter update for the 25-35%. There are members that have not collected these things. I don't know why we are reducing it to the level as if, no, these ones they are not appreciating it. That's the truth. That's the truth. For instance, the 6 billion that was to be moved for accoutrement, non-clinical duty, and hazard allowance was supposed to be moved last Monday. It's just today that we're hearing it has been moved. We can't take a decision based on today it has been moved. We can't, sir. So if you objectively x-ray all the issues, we have discussed them, no finality on any one of them. When those finalities happen, we can begin to tick them off the list. And then at that point, we can now say, no, you can't have 100%. But at this point, sir.
What is finality? What is 100%?
Yes, sir. That is carrying them to its logical conclusion.
So if that is the case, none of this will have been finished. Is that what you are saying? If this is the case, which means none of these things have been finished. We know they have not been finished. But some of them we cannot use them to continue the strike.
So we actually appreciate you for your time because it shows that you are concerned about the situations. Like what we are saying, and we continue to appeal, that this professional allowance, let's maintain status quo and release the table. Other conversations can come. We are not asking for new thing. Is this professional allowance table has been corrected? Let it be released so that we can start a process. It has already been completed. On the specialist allowance, let the implementation commence, or let's put a timeline when it will commence. If we feel that it has not been budgeted for, we can say, okay, January, since it is not covered this year, let it be, and a circular will come on that by January, let it come. Our elders here, the committee of CMD, has recommended that this set of people are qualified for this. Let's put an end to it and say, circular should come, let's continue. So we know that that one item has been taken care of. The other issue of the one-on-one, we can set the one-on-one policy. These are the items, and this is the timeline for it to be implemented. Let's say 1 to 2 months. That is finalization. The issue of entry levels, the head of service has been communicated. It will not be a difficult thing for him within 24 hours to write back, since the circular is already there, and we feel that that issue has been finalized, and we can take it to our members. But these ones are open-ended finalization. That is why we are appealing that let this issue be finalized. And if you observe, we agree that the 5 SAC colleagues is before the committee. Let the committee come with their solution. But it appears that the resolution will reach. The Minister of Health for State said it's party for it, but he did not agree, meaning that all the time we have spent in this place to agree on certain things, anywhere that he come and he did not agree with it, it's like we are going back to where we are coming from. So this is our appeal that we should move forward. And these are pertinent issues that when it is resolved, our member will be willing to listen. Issue of professional allowance table, issue of specialist allowance, this one-on-one, this SAC police. We want to go to see how far we have gone so that we table it before them. Other issues are issues that requires time, which they will understand. But these issues we believe that it can be resolved within these few. We want to appreciate you once again. We know that you have taken your time with us, and we forever be grateful. Please, as a father, grandfather to us, we believe that at your table, you can advise. And our leader, the NAB president, also, we are all in the same page that this issue should be resolved. We are begging and we are appealing to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But what I'm saying, I'm just trying to take us through this just like a proposal. But it is appearing that it's appearing as if we have not done anything. People are not appreciating what is being done. If we continue like this, there will be no end to it. As a father, as an elder, and as a conciliator, I don't think we can make any progress if we are running this matter like this. Like for example, this number 1, you are still not satisfied with it. And you are saying you cannot report back on number 1 and number 2. So how can we make progress?
Sir, if you listen to the Secretary carefully,
if I listen to who?
What the Secretary deposited carefully, he is actually giving this gathering a secret insight into the neck. There are issues that are minimum requirements because of the history and nature of them.
This one is not minimum, it's not minimally acceptable to you.
Now, once a countryman lands, it gives me impetus.
They have promised that they're going to land tomorrow.
So once that lands, it gives me impetus to go and tell them, okay, a countryman has landed.
If you will tell me, we're not asking you to call the neck tomorrow or today. But at least we are achieving something, at least these two. And what is happening on Lokoja. Lokoja, you will not expect us to finish it today or tomorrow or in the next 1 week. Because the committee has not even started meeting. But it should not prevent you from calling off the strike because we have set up the machinery in motion to resolve it.
Which is why we are saying the professional allowance, the specialist allowance, we can have implementation dates for them here.
Let us go one by one and see how we can have a timeline or something. I have no objection. Yes. But how can we continue with the strike like this when we are making progress? It is as if you are saying government has not done anything, which I disagree with.